What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Fun Dads. We have a DeAndre Swift signed jersey. All you have to do is be a subscriber for a chance to win. We're going to give it to one of you subscribers when we get to 2,000 for free. We are doing another mock draft. I'm going to be doing a bunch more of these because it makes it very interesting, or else we have just the standard rankings. The standard rankings are going to be on my Patreon soon, just 1 QB, super flex, all of that. And really, how much more can we change these rankings? You can't really change these rankings unless something happens, which is draft capital and landing spots, which do play a role when it comes to the Dynasty Rookie Drafts. We did Superflex yesterday, so if you missed that, Superflex yesterday. Today is going to be 1 QB, so you're not going to be hearing any QBs taken in the first 12 picks, but we're going to be going through some different situations, and this is all by Walter Football. They did a 7-round mock draft as of this morning, and so we're going to do it, and we're going to see where we are going to be drafting some of these rookie players in 1 QB. Number 101 is going to be Breece Hall. He's drafted by the New York Jets at pick 38 overall in the 2nd round. Michael Carter lovers are probably going to hate this pick, and I could easily see a running back going to the Jets. That's going to be one of the hot spots for Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller. Not like a James Cook or a Kyron Williams, because those are more pass-catching backs, and they don't need that. Michael Carter is a sufficient third-down back, and you saw that he was highly targeted in the passing game. That's Michael Carter it is, but Breece Hall can be a 3-down back. Breece Hall is going to be the stud. Michael Carter is going to be the J.D. McKissick role. Think Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. This is what you're going to get. Breece Hall is going to be into that role. Probably RB like 18 on the year of his rookie season if he is a New York Jet, which we'll take. He's still super young, and Breece Hall is the most talented, I believe, player in this rookie draft. And he's a running back, and he's the safest of the players. So number 2 is Kenneth Walker. And this one, I feel like people, you should comment if you're going to hate or love this spot. And it is Miami. Pick 50 overall, round 2, Kenneth Walker. I feel like people are going to hate or love this pick. I like Mike Daniels as a coach to the running back position. You have Raheem Mostert and you have Chase Edmonds. So maybe the first year might be trying to be a little bit tough for him to get into that playing time. But Kenneth Walker is a very, very talented running back. And I look at Raheem Mostert getting closer to that 30 years of age. Chase Edmonds, again, to that kind of role that he did to James Conner. They really need a workhorse running back. And so, yeah, maybe Mostert is some of that, but he's got to either stay on the field, which he's been very prone to injuries. So it could easily be the Elijah Mitchell situation where all of a sudden he's, boom, just thrusted right into the situation where he's a 3-down or close to 3-down back. He's number 2 in this situation. He's my number 3 on my big board. But when it comes to it, I feel like there's not a huge difference between 1 through 6. And then there's a pretty decent drop-off, usually, between like 7 and 8. And then there's even a further drop-off, 9 and further. So when you get to like 9 through 16, there's a big drop-off. And I have these tiers in my Dynasty rankings on Patreon. They're going to be color-coded, so then you guys have an idea of which players I have in which tier. So number 3, this is going to be Garrett Wilson, and so this is the first time that we've had Garrett Wilson drafted first of the wide receivers, but he's number 3 in this one, and he's going to Houston. Houston might sound like a horrible situation, and it's not an amazing situation. You have Davis Mills, but there's a big chance that Houston tries to play for a quarterback in 2023. Davis Mills might be the quarterback here just for a little while for this next year. And maybe even Houston tries to go after a different quarterback in 2023 for free agency as well. We'll find out, but I think Garrett Wilson Houston is going to have a bunch of targets. They're going to have to go to somebody, and I think Garrett Wilson actually does well in Houston his rookie year, and I think he's a good dynasty fit for Houston. Houston won't always be dumpster fire. They'll turn it around. The division, is not super tough. You have Indianapolis, you have Jacksonville, and you have Tennessee, which is not murderer's row like the AFC West when you have Kansas City, the Chargers, Oakland, and Denver, which looks like that would be an absolutely horrible division to be a part of. Number 4, and you're probably waiting for me to say Traylon Burks, but it's Drake London. And by the way, Houston pick was 113. I don't know why Walter Football decided to put Drake London at 102. I cannot see a situation where, A, Detroit picks up a wide receiver at 2, and I cannot see why Drake London would be drafted second overall. I just can't see it. I can't see a wide receiver being drafted in the top 7-8 picks. I can't see a wide receiver being drafted ahead of, like, you saw even Jamar Chase, how great Jamar Chase was. He wasn't drafted at 102 because there are some really, really good defensive ends in this draft. There's even some good offensive linemen in this draft. I cannot see this. But Detroit drafts him 102 because maybe Detroit loves their wide receivers. We're just going to assume that we're just going to have to go by the rules. And the rules are Walter Football decided that, so Detroit is going to pick him. And really, Detroit has Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have Josh Reynolds, but really it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Drake London, being that big type of wide receiver, you have the Marvin Jones type, and then you have the Kenny Golladay type. I think Drake London could be that Kenny Golladay type, where you're going to have some really good high-end wide receiver 2 upside potential in Dynasty. I don't see the top 12 potential, but you have Jared Goff. Maybe they are also team that them and Houston are also teams that could play for a quarterback in 2023, 2024. Like the situations change. Denver looks horrible. All of a sudden, Denver looks amazing. Indianapolis looks horrible. Now they look actually pretty decent. Washington Commanders look bad. Now they actually look pretty decent because they have Carson Wentz. It's like things can change so quickly that we cannot put 100% of that weight into landing spot quite yet. Number 5 is going to be not Treylon Burks. It's going to be Jamison Williams. And the more I see this pick, the more I like this pick. And it's because he's with Aaron Rodgers. He is pick 1.22, which seems to be that it seems like that's the Packers. Packers seem like they're always drafting Jamison Williams in mocks. We'll see if this actually comes to fruition. Last year, it was Rashad Bateman going to Baltimore, and I did not want it. This I actually do not want just because I'm a Vikings fan, as you can see. So Jamison Williams, Packers, this is the 5th pick. Even with an ACL injury, you have Jamison Williams being the alpha into that offense with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I could even see him being higher in this, especially with Garrett Wilson and going to Houston and Drake London going to Detroit. Easily could see him being pick number 3 overall in this draft. I'm going to right now put him as 5. I still would have him behind the full season of Garrett Wilson and Drake London in this situation, but Jamison Williams right up there too. And Treylon Burks, why he's moved to 6 is because he was drafted by 116, the Philadelphia Eagles. First of all, he's potentially not going to be the alpha because you got Devontae Smith there. And Treylon Burks going to the Eagles with the quarterback Jalen Hurts, like I just don't like that situation at all. That's where, yeah, the situation can change. But the situation that I thought was going to potentially happen is they were going to go after Deshaun Watson. Now what do they do? What are they going to do with Jalen Hurts? I see that situation being more concrete than the Houston and the Detroit situation. Plus, you're stuck with Devontae Smith on a rookie contract for probably another 4 years. So you're stuck eating target share with Devontae Smith. It's just not a situation I like. And I do not want one of these top 5-6 wide receivers going to the Eagles. Throw Wan'Dale Robinson there. Throw Jahan Dotson there. Throw a receiver that is more into the slot realm, maybe a shorter statured wide receiver versus a big, ginormous Treylon Burks type of wide receiver. Number 7, I got to find him, George Pickens. He is drafted in the 2nd round, 44th overall, to Cleveland, which yesterday, or 2 days ago, you would have said, man, that sucks. Now, he's got Deshaun Watson for probably, 4.5 years. I'm assuming he's going to be suspended for half a year. That would be Deshaun Watson it is. And so George Pickens, Cleveland, number 7. In this situation, which stinks, I even thought about putting Treylon Burks even lower. You could argue that Treylon Burks in Philadelphia is a lot worse than George Pickens at Cleveland, number 7. That's tough, man. Treylon Burks just gets wrecked in this mock draft. Number 8, Jahan Dotson, and he goes to New Orleans in this situation. Jameis Winston, I think they said sign, and then now it's expected to sign an extension. Saints also highly invested in trying to get a different quarterback there. They have Michael Thomas, who's aging. They don't have much else there. They have they really don't. And so they have Damian Harris, which is now Damian Hardy. So switch his name up. They have Kamara in the backfield, but really they need another weapon there. And Jahan Dotson actually fits really well, being a more of a low average depth of target type of wide receiver to move the chains for Jameis Winston, even though Jameis Winston likes to throw some risky stuff. Number 9, Chris Olave, Tennessee. And everyone's like, oh, Tennessee, they got A.J. Brown. They got, why can I not think of, let me just take a little brief moment. Why can I not think of who else they have? Oh, Robert Woods. I was like, they just traded for somebody. Robert Woods. I got it. And Robert Woods, again, getting closer to that 30 mark. Sorry, I got sinus stuff going on. Robert Woods is potentially going to be gone maybe in a year, 2 years. Like he's a short-term fill-in. And so I could easily see being Chris Olave being a really good wide receiver year 2, year 3 on. And at this point, you have to pick that gap in talent versus landing spot. And he's more talented than some of the other wide receivers like Wan'Dale Robinson, in my opinion, or Sky Moore, or I'm trying to think who else is it. I'm just seeing David Bell. David Bell going to Houston in this situation, not really what I like, I guess. Wan'Dale Robinson going to Kansas City, another situation not too thrilled about. So if you're looking at, well, even if they have a little bit better situation, Chris Olave, I believe, much more talented. And so this is where you have to take that talent at number 9. Number 10, you're waiting for that running back, and it is actually James Cook over Isaiah Spiller. What am I doing? And I'll tell you why. Number 10, James Cook, 3.91, going to Tampa Bay. I really love this situation. You have Tom Brady for at least a year, or for maybe more years. Who knows? Tom Brady may never retire again. James Cook is going to fill that Giovanni Bernard role, but supersize it and make it so much better. And that's why James Cook, because of this perfect landing spot, one of the perfect landing spots for James Cook, in my opinion, gets that huge bump up from middle teens, that 15, 16 mark, all the way up to 10. And I'll tell you why Isaiah Spiller. So keep in touch why Isaiah Spiller is going to fall here. Number 11 is going to be Christian Watson, Miami. You got Jalen Waddle. I think that this is a good spot for Christian Watson, that big body type of wide receiver. And again, you have him, or you have Wan'Dale Robinson, or him, or Sky Moore, or him, or David Bell. And his situation is much better, and his talent is not much less, I guess, is not much worse than the other wide receivers. So I'm going to take that little extra bump up in the tier, that he's just going to move up in that tier of wide receivers, and he's going to take the 11th spot. Number 12 is going to be Isaiah Spiller, and I hate this landing spot. One of the last picks, or a later pick in the 3rd round, you're going to have Isaiah Spiller going to Baltimore. There are questions about Gus Edwards, that is for sure, and we'll see if he ends up coming back fully healthy. J.K. Dobbins, maybe he doesn't come back healthy after his ACL, but you have a crowded backfield, and you have Lamar Jackson, and now you have Isaiah Spiller. This doesn't seem to make sense to me. Isaiah Spiller is one of the biggest. I feel like he's going to be that 3rd or 4th round running back. He's going to get that dip. And I'm hoping a good team, a team that already doesn't have a crowded backfield. I think a crowded backfield, if they pick him, this is where you're going to end up having him. End of the 1st, early 2nd, you're going to be choosing between Isaiah Spiller and Zamir White. Isaiah Spiller and Kyron Williams. Isaiah Spiller and James Cook. Like, you're going to be, he is getting a huge decrease because of the combine, his short little window of combine. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition, or if people watch his college tape and watch his college talent and go, hey, he's the 3rd best running back, in my opinion, by a substantial margin, and he should be the 3rd running back taken off the board, and I don't think he will be. If I were to put a little tiny bet, I would say he's at least the 5th or later running back taken off the board. So there's going to be a 3rd and 4th running back taken ahead of him, and it's probably going to be James Cook. It's probably going to be Kyron Williams. It could be Zamir White. It's going to be these running backs, especially James Cook. I think James Cook is going to be the 3rd running back taken off the board because of A, his name, and B, his kind of versatility. People are going to be like, hey, if I can get 80% of Dalvin Cook in the 3rd round, I'm going to take it. And I don't blame NFL teams. And if you see Isaiah Spiller's combine, his 2 exercises he did, 2 things he did, you're like, I don't like that. People love combine workout warriors. That's my little rant. Isaiah Spiller, number 12, Baltimore. Sad. But J.K. Dobbins, he might only be there for a couple of years. He's already in his this would be his third year. And so maybe J.K. Dobbins doesn't have a second round contract, a second team contract. Maybe he gets let go, like a Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny, first round pick. J.K. Dobbins only has a 4-year rookie contract, not a 5-year option. The 5th year option only applies to first round picks, which J.K. Dobbins was not. He was a second round pick. So that is the situation. All right, 1 through 12. Things are changing and being crazy. All right, this is Marcus Dynasty Dads. Peace out. Take care.